The Piano Man, legendary musician Billy Joel, is taking a break, canceling all upcoming tour dates because of a neurological disorder. A statement on the singer's Instagram page today says, quote, "Under his doctor's instructions, Billy is undergoing specific physical therapy and has been advised to refrain from performing during this recovery period." In the statement, Billy Joel says, quote, "I'm sincerely sorry to disappoint our audience." CNN chief medical correspondent and practicing neurosurgeon Dr. Sanjay Gupta joins us now. Sanjay, walk people through the diagnosis here.
Yeah, no one likes to hear news like this, but let me talk you through it. There may be some potential treatments for him. This is something known as normal pressure hydrocephalus. Now, hydrocephalus may be a term people are familiar with. They think about water on the brain. Typically think about that happening in babies, but it can happen in adults as well. And Phil, let me show you these images here. You get an idea of what this looks like. In an adult brain, you have normal fluid-filled spaces. So on the left, that's what the brain should look like. That's normal. On the right, you can see those black areas in the middle. Phil, those are the ventricles, and they carry cerebrospinal fluid. And you can see that they're much larger in the scan on the right. That is normal pressure hydrocephalus. And so that is something that happens typically in people over the age of 65, and it can cause all sorts of different symptoms that I'm sure have led to him canceling the tour.
How common is this?
This is not that common, but it is one of those things, I'll tell you interestingly, just because this is my area of expertise, patients oftentimes will come in with symptoms such as difficulty with walking, balance difficulties. They may have difficulty with their bladder control. They may have difficulty with cognition. Oftentimes it is confused for things like Alzheimer's disease, for example, or even Parkinson's disease. Patient comes in like that, they get a scan, and all of a sudden they see this normal pressure hydrocephalus, which again, you don't want to get any of these diagnoses, but this is potentially a treatable problem. So it's not common, but it can be a mimic of a lot of other neuro sort of diseases out there, Phil.
You mentioned area of expertise. You operate on patients with this kind of condition. Yeah. Tell us about the treatment.
Yeah, so it's interesting. So think about that fluid again. That fluid is circulating around the brain, around the spinal cord. First of all, you can actually take a needle and do what's called a lumbar puncture, which is a needle in the lower back, and drain some of that fluid. When you drain some of that fluid, the patient might pretty rapidly feel better, improve in their gait, improve in their walking, improve in their cognition. If that happens, and it does happen a fair number of times, then you can do something that's a bit more permanent. So this is the brain. You basically would put a catheter sort of through the brain into one of those fluid-filled spaces I mentioned, and then using a catheter sort of drain that fluid into the abdomen, for example. That's called a shunt, something else that people may have heard of. And I got to tell you, this is rare, but when it comes to someone with what Billy Joel is describing, it could potentially be a very treatable problem. I think that's what they're hoping for. I'm sure he's having those discussions with his doctors right now.
Yeah, I think we're all hoping for that. Dr. Sanjay Gupta, always grateful for your expertise. Thanks so much.